Hi guys. Welcome to Luca Techty. In this video, we will talk about Mars Mysteries 7 interesting facts about Mars. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for future updates. 7. Day on Mars. A day on Mars consists of 24 hours, 39 minutes, and 35 seconds. It is the planet whose day is closest to ours in length. A day on Mars lasts almost one on Earth. But the year is not the same since it takes Mars 686 days to complete one full rotation around the Sun. In other words, a year on Mars lasts 686 days, which is significantly longer than a year on Earth. This is due to the distance between Mars and the Sun, which causes Mars' orbit to be larger and take longer to complete than Earth's. An intriguing fact is that though the duration of the day on Earth and Mars is comparable, officials in charge of the American robotic exploratory missions to Mars chose to call the Martian day Sun rather than a day in order to avoid confusion with the day on Earth. As a result, it is said that when you spend a day on Mars, Sun 1 has set, Sun 2 has come, and so forth. 6. Atmosphere. As previously stated, Mars' atmosphere has a highly difficult past. Mars lost its magnetosphere 4 billion years ago, presumably as a result of several asteroid impacts. Thus, the solar wind interacts directly with the Martian ionosphere, reducing air density by removing atoms from the outer layer. Mars' atmosphere is extremely rarefied in comparison to Earth's. Mars' atmosphere is composed of 96% carbon dioxide, 1.93% argon, and 1.89% nitrogen, with traces of oxygen and water. The atmosphere is dusty, with particulates 1.5 meters in diameter that give the Martian sky a tawny hue when viewed from the surface. Because of the iron oxide particles suspended in it, it may take on a pink color. In short, we can't just freely breathe the air on Mars, and visiting the planet without a pressurized suit would be disastrous in every aspect. As a result, any colony we attempt to establish there will be pressurized, with oxygen produced and regenerated so that we may breathe. 5. The effects of gravity. It has been demonstrated that even astronauts who are in good physical shape, exercising on the ISS, nonetheless display severe damage to their muscles and bones. At first, this will be a major issue because Mars is just a third of that on Earth. Although it is impossible to predict, many analysts believe that it is likely that we will eventually find a way to adapt to Mars' low gravity. Perhaps the only way is through DNA modification or through natural selection, which improves the capabilities of future children born to couples who live on Mars. For the time being, it is uncertain how we will approach this issue, but it is certain that we will need to find a solution. 4. Life expectancy on Mars. Although it is still lethal, Mars, despite being considered Earth's sibling planet, the surface is highly dangerous. The Armstrong limit, which is the lowest atmospheric pressure at which liquids boil at a temperature equal to that of the human body, would be significantly exceeded on Mars because of its abundance of deserts, extreme cold, and lack of atmosphere. As a result, all bodily fluids, including mucus, saliva, sweat, and blood, would start to boil there. This would have a very serious immediate impact. Of course, you wouldn't be able to breathe in the interim. And the cold might not even be the worst of it. In fact, margin temperatures range from 20 degrees Celsius to -140. If you were to choose a location near the equator, though, you might even be able to survive for a while. Your life expectancy would likely be less than a minute. 3. Launch window. The most well-known planet after Earth is Marte, also referred to as the Red Planet. It is not, however, the closest since Mars and Earth are separated by 59 million kilometers at their closest points. The distance between Earth and Mars is equal to the distance we would have to travel if we traveled from Earth to Venus twice. While Mars is on the opposite side of the Sun from Earth, though this is not always the case. The launch window, which occurs every 26 months when Mars and Earth are closer than usual due to their elliptical orbits, allows space agencies to launch any spacecraft or probe they like to send to the Red Planet. Mars and Earth will be at their closest point ever during this brief interval. Thus, compared to if they were launched at any other time, the ships that are launched during the launch window that happens every 26 months will require a lot less fuel to reach the Red Planet. With current technology, it would take around 10 months to travel from Earth to Mars using the launch window between the two planets. This is only for the one-way trip. Astronauts would need to wait 26 months for Mars and the Earth to come back into close proximity before returning to Earth. 2. Water on Mars. It goes without saying that finding water on Mars is one of the most significant discoveries ever made. There was a long-held misconception that Mars always had water, as mentioned in its history from the Earth's perspective. However, this was eventually shown to be a myth. As time passed, there were indications that Mars may have had water in the past and potentially even now. The only issue was that, given the planet's tiny atmosphere and complete lack of a magnetosphere, it couldn't be liquid water. But that doesn't mean they didn't discover it. The first stable body of water to be found on Mars was a subglacial lake, which was discovered in July 2018. It is about 20 kilometers, 12 miles, broad and lies 1.5 kilometers, 0.9 miles, below the surface at the southern polar ice cap's base. The MARSIS radar on board the Mars Express spacecraft was used to find the lake, and the profiles were gathered between May 2012 and December 2015. The lake's geographic center is at 193 degrees east and 81 degrees south, a flat area without any unusual topographic features. Except for depression on its eastern side, it is mostly surrounded by higher ground. When you combine that with the various polar caps and other ice formations on the planet, Mars suddenly becomes a location where we can actually live, since we are aware that there is usable water there. Prior to delving more into Mars and the different facts related to it. 1. Moons. The moons were named after the horses that carried the chariot of Ares, the Greek god of war. Phobos means flight in Greek, and Deimos means fear in Greek. Phobos, the innermost and largest moon, has a highly cratered surface with deep grooves. It is slowly approaching Mars and will either collide with it or break apart in around 50 million years. Deimos is almost half the size of Phobos and orbits Mars twice as far away. The oddly shaped Deimos is covered in loose dirt, which frequently fills the craters on its surface, giving it a smoother appearance than Phobos. Mars moons are another subject of intense investigation. While a full-fledged colony is unlikely for these moons, a form of waystation is possible. And certain theories about the future of space travel have speculated on how these moons could help launch humanity into the rear half of the solar system. Thanks for watching, everyone. Which of these did you find most interesting? If you like our video, don't forget to subscribe my channel or hit the bell icon.